What is going on? This is Justin here from Native Watercraft, and today I am bringing you a new accessory. This is the bow plate for the Slayer 12.5 Max as well as the Titan series. It will fit the 10, 12, and 13.5. In this video, I will show you how to install it on a 12.5 as well as a Titan 10. I will go over what comes in the box, all of your hardware that you'll need, as well as 2 key accessories, all right, that'll enhance your fishability. So first thing that we're gonna do, we're gonna identify our Slayer 12.5 Max hardware kit. All right, there will be a little card included in the bag. That way you can identify what is what. So here's what you'll need to complete this installation. I've got a drill, a 7/16 wrench, I've got a 1/4 drill bit, some Dawn dish soap, and then I've got a box cutter. That box cutter is not totally necessary, but whenever we take off this bow handle, you might want to go ahead and cut that grip just to make it a little bit easier. First thing that we need to do before we can get this installation started, I've got to take off this bow handle. There's an insert on either side. Just go ahead and back both of those out. So hang on to these screws that we just removed. You'll need those in a second. All right, now we're gonna take that bow handle. I'm gonna remove that Bmx grip. You can do this one of 2 ways. I've got some Dawn Professional Heavy Duty Degreaser. Hopefully this will lube up that Bmx grip enough to where we can slide it off. Or if you're impatient like me, I'm just gonna go ahead and cut down the middle using a box cutter. Remember, we do sell these Bmx grips on our website, so if you do wanna go back and put this on at a later date, just check out our website. You can purchase a replacement. So for those of you with sensitive eyes, I recommend looking away now. All right, I'm gonna cut down the center of this Bmx grip. Remember, this is not totally necessary. You can use that Dawn dish soap if you really want to. I'm just doing this for the sake of time and ease. I'm just gonna puncture that grip right down the center, and I'm pressing outwards, just like that. Comes right off. Gonna cut this last part here. And now I've got that exposed track. This is exactly what we want. All right, now that I have my exposed track, I've got my 1/4 slider slugs. I'm gonna place one on either side. And then now I can reinstall that handle. All right, so our bow handle is back on, our 2 slider slugs are installed. Now it's time to identify what accessory, all right, we'll be mounting to this bow plate. So at a glance, you'll notice that we have a couple of patterns on top of the board. In particular, we have the quick release bracket from Motor Guide, and then we have the power pole mount that you use for the micro power pole from Power Pole. For this video, I will be installing the quick release bracket from Motor Guide. I'll need 4 of our T-nut inserts that are included in your all-inclusive hardware kit. All right, now that my T-nuts are seated, I'm gonna flip it around. I'm gonna align the 2 front mounting holes with the 1/4 slider slugs and the molded in 1/4 inserts. All right, so we've got the plate installed using the 4 1/4 screws, the molded in inserts up front, as well as the 1/4 slider slugs. Now it's time to drill a couple of holes. We're gonna add some more structure on either side of this plate using some internal hardware. All right, that's gonna give us a little bit more strength when we use that Motor Guide XI3. All right, I'm gonna open up the hatch. I've got some electrical wiring in here. It might be a little bit difficult for me to show you this. Gonna try to get this moved out of the way as best as I can. That should be fine. Waterproof washers are going on first. This might be a little bit more difficult than I thought. There we go, that's it. Since these washers are rubberized, you're gonna have to help them up just a little bit using your drill. You're not gonna be able to just slide these on. Okay, washers are nice and tight. Now it's time to put those lock nuts on the back. Grab your wrench right. All right, so there you have it. That was the install for the 12.5. I'm gonna put this bracket on really quickly just to show you, and then we'll move on to that Titan 10. All right, so I've got my Titan 10 in front of me. I've got my hardware kit. All right, you can identify the Titan hardware kit by locating those 8 black spacers versus the 4 that you'll find in that 12.5 kit. You will need a star bit for this front handle. That is the only difference. If you do not have a star bit at home, you can obviously find these at pretty much any hardware store. I went and found a star bit, or also known as a torque bit. I call it a star bit because it looks like a star. I'm gonna take my Phillips head off. We're only going to halfway seed the farthest forward 1/4 20. We're not gonna install the one closest to the paddler quite yet. I'm just gonna get that seated about halfway, just like that, and then we'll go on to the next part. So you'll notice here we've got quite a bit of room on either side. All right, that's where these black spacers come into play. For right now, I'm actually going to use these to help level out the plate, all right, before I get to drilling. This will ensure that the holes are in the correct position. I'm just going to level each side out as best as I can, and then I'm going to come to the nose and make sure that this is on the money. It appears to be so. There is an arrow on that front hatch that's pointing directly center, so you can line up this center hole right with that arrow. I think that is perfect. All right, now it's time to get to drilling. As you can see here, my plate is nice and level using those black spacers. I'm just gonna take that drill nice and tall. I'm going straight down. I'm gonna try to get as far away as I can from the edge of the kayak. I'm gonna drill a hole, not directly center, all right, but I'm gonna come in just a little bit. And again, if you're off by a little bit, you'll be fine. There is some room for error here. There is variance in that hole if you don't go right where you intend to go. All right, got my holes drilled. Now I'm gonna line up those spacers directly with that hole. There we go. All right, lastly, before I tighten down that internal hardware, you've got a longer 1/4 20, all right, to go on this molded in insert that's closest to the paddler. All right, this is not totally necessary, but if you do want to install this, we have included that longer 1/4 20. All right, last thing here, we're gonna install that internal hardware. You've got those 2 watertight washers as well as those Loctite nuts that were included in that all-purpose kit that came with your plate. Remove that bow hatch lid. All right, as mentioned, all right, with this plate, you'll still be able to use that quick release mount for motor guide that we installed on that 12.5, as well as the micro power pole anchor from PowerPole. Appreciate y'all watching. We installed this plate on the Slayer 12.5 Max as well as this Titan 10. It's also compatible on the Titan 12 and 13.5. Stay tuned for more installation videos down the road. My name is Justin Floyd. I'm with Native Watercraft, and we'll see you on the water.